All right, 25 minutes before 9 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in to The Source, WOCA. It's time for News Bites. This is the portion of AM Ocala Live during which Robin and I will read the news to you. We will not offer commentary or become silly, I hope. But nevertheless, we have some stories, and we'll read just a shortened version of these stories. We don't paraphrase. We don't change the wording. We just simply read the first few paragraphs. The first story is from NBC News. Interpol issued wanted person notices this morning for 6 people accused by the Department of Justice of being involved in a vast corruption network surrounding soccer's FIFA governing body. The so-called red notices, which do not have the power of an international arrest warrant, were issued at the request of U.S. authorities, Interpol said in a statement. Former FIFA Vice President Jack Warner and former FIFA Executive Committee member Nicolas Leos were the top names on Interpol's list, followed by Alejandro Burzaco, Hugo Jinkis, and Mariano Jinkis, all heads of marketing businesses based in Argentina, and Jose Margulies, who runs Brazilian broadcasting firm Valente Corporation and Somerton Limited. Interpol said the charges included racketeering, conspiracy, and corruption. Interpol issues its red notices to inform member countries that a judiciary authority has issued an arrest warrant and is seeking the location of the defendants with a view to extradition or similar lawful action.
A powerful House committee approved a bill yesterday to repeal Obamacare's medical device tax, a provision that's been criticized by members of both parties as a misguided way to pay for the health overall. The Ways and Means Committee voted 25-14 to repeal the 2.3% excise on sales of pacemakers, artificial joints, and other devices, with Representative Ron Kind of Wisconsin, the lone Democrat, to support the bill. This is his quote: "It's an iron law of economics that when you tax something, you get less of it. So we've really got our wires crossed here. We want more medical devices. What we want less of is this bureaucratic meddling," unquote. Democrats on the panel cried foul, saying the GOP failed to come up with the $26 billion needed to replace the revenue that will be lost over the decade by scrapping the tax, reported by the Washington Times.
And from CNN, heavy artillery fire was reported around Donetsk city in eastern Ukraine this morning in what observers described as some of the worst fighting in the months since a shaky ceasefire was declared. The Ukrainian General Command Media Office said that separatists fired heavy artillery from Donetsk city toward Marinka early this morning. Marinka has been controlled by Ukrainian government forces and sits on a strategically vital western highway to the city's west, where checkpoints mark the end of separatist-controlled territory. The General Command said 200 separatist militants attacked Ukrainian positions, and there was an exchange of fire for 6 hours. It denied reports that 25 Ukrainian soldiers were wounded or that their positions were surrounded.
2 schools were on lockdown yesterday in Ocala, Florida, while Ocala police attempted to find the suspects involved in an armed robbery at the Dollar General store located at 2195 Northwest 10th Street in Ocala. Howard Middle School and Madison Street Elementary School locked down while the search continued for the suspects who fled the store. Police said they established a perimeter with support of a K-9 unit and Marion County Sheriff's Office Air Unit. However, they were unable to locate the suspects. The suspects are described as 2 dark-skinned males under the age of 20. One of the suspects was wearing a red and orange long-sleeve shirt and cap. The other suspect was wearing a dark blue hoodie with white stripes. Both had their faces covered. Police said the suspects displayed black handguns when they demanded money at the store. A surveillance video of the local robbery shows the suspects robbing the employees at gunpoint. Anonymous tips can be submitted through Ocala's free mobile app, MyPD, or contacting Crime Stoppers of Marion County at ocalacrimestoppers.com, reported by the Ocala Star-Banner.
And from CNN, it didn't take long after the Miracle on the Hudson in 2009 for people to wonder about a movie. Now we have an answer, and Clint Eastwood is directing it. The life story of Captain Chelsea Sullenberger, known as Sully, will be brought to the screen, according to a statement issued yesterday by Warner Brothers Pictures. Warner Brothers Pictures and CNN are both Time Warner properties. The film will be adapted from Highest Duty, My Search for What Really Matters by Sullenberger and Jeffrey Zaslow. The movie promises to capture the behind-the-scenes drama surrounding Sullenberger's landing of the U.S. Airways plane unpowered in the Hudson River after multiple bird strikes. All 155 people aboard the flight survived.
More than 100 people have been arrested in a large-scale two-county operation that targeted cybercrimes and prostitution. The 2-week joint sting, known as Operation LNP, netted 101 arrests in both Lake and Polk counties located in Florida. The investigation concluded late last week. A news conference was held yesterday morning in Tavares to release the details of the sting. Many of the people arrested had jobs working with children, including theme park workers at Universal Orlando and SeaWorld, and a former Walt Disney World cast member who left that job before his arrest. SeaWorld also said the men charged were no longer employed at the theme park. There were 2 phases of the operation. During the first week, investigators say 22 people traveled to Claremont thinking they were going to have sex with a child between ages 10 and 14. 79 others were arrested on charges connected to prostitution, reported by the Florida News Network.
From ABC News, 4 people are recovering from serious injuries after an amusement park accident outside of London. The car full of thrill seekers on a ride called the Smiler at Alton Towers slammed into an empty car stuck on the tracks yesterday. The force of the collision wedged the cars together. The accident left 16 riders dangling for more than 4.5 hours. Walter Reese, a roller coaster safety expert, said modern ride technology deters such accidents from happening, saying, quote, "This sort of accident should never be able to happen because there is a very sophisticated computer system that watches the location of all of the trains," unquote.
NASA is preparing to launch a flying saucer. NASA has planned the second test run of braking technology for its low-density supersonic decelerator, hoping for more success with the giant parachutes that could one day help it slow down as it lands on Mars. The saucer-shaped low-density supersonic decelerator is expected to be launched on July the 3rd with a weather balloon to test its redesigned supersonic parachute, which last year shredded during its first 3,000-mile-per-hour descent. The supersonic parachute, which last year already was the largest ever flown, has been reshaped, reinforced, and enlarged, reported by UPI.
And the next story is from the Associated Press. A 67-year-old man who was convicted of killing 4 men more than 3 decades ago has asked the U.S. Supreme Court to keep him from becoming the oldest Texas prisoner put to death at an execution scheduled for this evening. Lester Bauer Jr. faces lethal injection for the October 1983 fatal shootings at an airplane hangar on a ranch near Sherman, about 60 miles north of Dallas. "I do have remorse," Bauer said, who has maintained his innocence. He made that statement to the Associated Press 2 weeks ago from death row. He said, "I'm remorseful for putting my family and my wife and my friends through this. If this is going to bring some closure to them," meaning the victim's family, "then good. But if they think by this they're executing the person that killed their loved one, then that's going to come up a little bit short," unquote. If the execution goes ahead, Bauer would be the 8th inmate given a lethal dose of pentobarbital this year in Texas, which carries out capital punishment more than any other state.
About 1.5 million people dropped off health insurance coverage rolls this year after failing to pay for policies they picked on the Obama marketplaces. That left 10.2 million covered by the Affordable Care Act policies as of March 31st, up from 6.3 million at the end of 2014. This is according to a report released today from the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, reported by Bloomberg.
We have to take a little break and catch up on the weather forecast, as well as hear a few commercial announcements, and then we'll return to News Bites. You're listening to The Source, WOCA Ocala.
The weather is brought to you by myfwc.com. Safe boating is no accident. For today, clouds, breaks of sun with a couple of showers and thunderstorms in the area into early tonight. The high today 82 to 86. And partly cloudy late tonight, those 66 inland, 71 at the coast. For tomorrow, intervals of clouds and sun with a shower and thunderstorm or two around in the afternoon. The high 85 at the coast, approaching 90 well inland. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Joe Lundberg.
Are you in need of custom screen printing, embroidery, or promotional items? Then look no further and come visit the brand new Legacy Team Sales. LTS is conveniently located off 17th Street next to Armstrong Homes in beautiful Ocala. We offer the best prices and highest quality products for your company, team, school, or nonprofit. Whether looking for screen printed shirts, embroidered polos, or travel team uniforms, you'll be sure to find it at Legacy Team Sales. Come visit our new 27,000 square foot facility. Our friendly and knowledgeable sales staff will assist you in every part of your custom purchase. LTS carries the hottest brands in the industry like Under Armour, Russell, Mizuno, Asics, Badger Sports, Gildan, Pacific, Ogio, and many more. At LTS, screen printing embroidery is done in-house and we guarantee customer satisfaction. Stop by, give us a call, or check us out on the web at shoplts.com. Remember the name, LTS.
Cookies, 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 cookies.
When you want something special and fun for any occasion, get cookies. That's right. The Great American Cookie Company in the Paddock Mall, Ocala will make a delicious, fun-filled delight just for you. You might notice that I said fun and delicious more than once. That's because I can't say it enough. The next time you're at the mall, be sure and stop by or call 352-237-2557 to place your order.
Cookies, cookies,
Yum.
cookies, cookies. We go cookie eating cookies.
The Great American Cookie Company.
Hi, I'm Seth with AA Lock, Dock, and Security. Have you ever thought about the locks or security on your house or business? Have you ever wondered why the keys to your new car cost so much? Well, at AA Lock, Dock, and Security, we can help with securing your valuables. We can even replace those expensive transponder keys. We can give you the knowledge that no one else will. Call AA Lock, Dock, and Security at 867-1965. That's 867-1965.
One of the most common questions those nearing retirement are asking, will I outlive my money? Retirement questions like these and many more will be answered every Saturday morning at 9 a.m. on Planning for a Better and Safer Retirement with hosts Francois and Julian Pozenet. Francois and Julian will help you put your retirement puzzle together. Catch Planning for a Better and Safer Retirement Saturdays at 9 a.m. on Ocala's News Talk, The Source 96.3 FM and 1370 AM.
All right, 12 minutes before 9 o'clock. Beautiful looking Wednesday. I think I see dark clouds in the horizon over that way. That would be to the west, right? That would be to the west. All right, next story is from, I'm sorry. I got the wrong story here. Next story is from CNN. Annie Macaulay heard of the legendary deep sea monster for 20 years, and then she finally saw it. An oarfish so long that it spanned the length of about 3 people. An oarfish is not necessarily a pleasant-looking animal. Indeed, it may inspire dread in some, but its mind-boggling size indeed resembles an oar belonging to a galley ship. This week's discovery is between 14 and 17 feet long, Macaulay estimates. They are rarely seen because they prefer to slither in the deep open ocean. It was by accident that Macaulay happened upon the dead oarfish, which had washed ashore on one of Los Angeles' coastal isles, Catalina Island. She discovered the fish Monday while taking kids on an educational kayaking trip off the island shore.
The Appropriations Committee in the Florida State Senate in Tallahassee approved a health care reform package to help as many as 800,000 low-income Floridians get private insurance. Senators also used the meeting to blast the governor, the Agency for Health Care Administration, and House leaders for opposing their plan. Senate Budget Chairman Tom Lee, a Republican from Brandon, Florida, says there have been a lot of lies. His quote, "People are making up that we're going to have to raise taxes, or if there's going to be a certain billion-dollar impact on Floridians, and just pulling numbers out of thin air," unquote. Lee says they want real reform, not just the quick fix supported by House leaders and Governor Rick Scott. Governor Scott and Republican leaders in the House claim the Senate health care plan will cost taxpayers too much, but the state's chief economist says it would actually save the state more than $1 billion over the next decade, reported by the Florida News Network.
And from the Reuters news agency, the top U.S. auto safety regulator said that replacement parts for potentially defective Takata Corporation airbag inflators may not offer consumers a remedy that lasts the life of a car. Many cars equipped with older Takata airbag systems could have to be fixed more than once, according to Mark Rosekind, head of the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. He told a House subcommittee yesterday that his agency is still sifting through more than 2.4 million pages of documents from Takata and has not determined why some of Takata's airbag inflators explode.
A cyclist has been removed from a nude bicycle race after he became aroused by the sight of his fellow participants. The man was seen sporting an erection after his fellow cyclists derobed at the starting line of the World Naked Bike Ride in Kent. Quote, the man looked sheepish when he was spoken to by the police, unquote, according to one witness. The man put his trousers on before being escorted away by officers. The nude bicycle ride was organized to raise awareness of the dangers posed to cyclists by motorists. Race organizers made a statement regarding the events on the World Naked Bike Ride Facebook page saying, quote, we do not accept this type of behavior, and the offender was dealt with and removed before the ride started. The police have confirmed they will act on any inappropriate the police have confirmed they will act on any inappropriate behavior. This is not a hard race. If you are coming just to be a pain in the neck, we'd rather you stayed at home, unquote, reported by The Independent.
That's what happened to me. No. The Associated Press, police are looking for the suspect who pushed a 28-year-old woman onto the tracks at a New York City subway station. Authorities say it happened around 9 a.m. Monday as she was standing on the southbound platform at the Bleecker Street station in Greenwich Village. Police say a man approached her and said, "What are you looking at?" They say he then grabbed a plastic bottle from a garbage bin, threw it at her, and pushed her to the tracks. The man fled the scene. Police say the woman complained of pain and suffered minor abrasions. She was taken to Bellevue Hospital, where she was treated and released. Police say the woman was assisted by another rider as she attempted to climb onto the platform.
New Hampshire Governor Maggie Hassan said yesterday that she vetoed a measure that would have allowed some images of minors to grace alcoholic beverage labels as long as they didn't encourage young people to drink. Republican State Representative Keith Murphy, who runs a popular tavern, sponsored the bill because he wanted to be able to buy breakfast stout crafted by Founders Brewery Company in Grand Rapids, Michigan. The beer's label depicts a chubby Norman Rockwell-esque baby scooping oatmeal into his mouth. Hassan said allowing the images could undermine the state's efforts to fight underage drinking. Murphy said the veto is an overreach and noted that neighboring Massachusetts, Maine, and Vermont sell the beer. He also pointed out that a New Hampshire-produced craft beer, Smutty Nose Baltic Porter, would have to come off the shelves because its label shows Father Time and a baby, reported by the Associated Press.
And from the Associated Press, Houston police say a father is accused of beating his 3-year-old son to death after the boy had potty training accidents. Harris County jail records show 24-year-old Anthony Trakeman Powell was being held without bond yesterday on a capital murder charge. His son died Friday at a hospital. Powell's sister, 23-year-old Prasha Land, was charged with injury to a child by omission. Investigators say Land witnessed the beatings. Court records say Powell used his hands and a belt to strike the boy when he wet himself. Land called 911 last Thursday when the boy had trouble breathing. Her bond is set at $260,000. Online jail records don't list attorneys to speak for the defendants.
The makers of a pill intended to boost sexual desire in women will try again this week to persuade regulators that the drug warrants approval after 2 rejections. A new review released by the Food and Drug Administration shows government scientists still have concerns about whether the drug's benefits outweigh its risks. The FDA review highlights several safety issues with ephibonserin, including low blood pressure and fainting spells. Those problems increase when patients combine the drug with alcohol and some other medications. A panel of FDA experts will discuss the drug at a public meeting tomorrow before voting on whether to recommend its approval, reported by CBS.
And from the UPI News Network, officials from the Department of Veterans Affairs told a House committee yesterday that the agency has been spending billions of dollars a year on private medical care for veterans in hospitals and clinics without contracts. The hearing before the House Committee on Veterans Affairs Investigations panel was a result of allegations of misspending of billions of dollars brought forward by Jan R. Fry, Deputy Assistant Secretary for Acquisition and Logistics at the VA.
A plan to force all American law enforcement agencies to report killings by their officers was unveiled by U.S. senators yesterday, a day after The Guardian published an investigation into the fatal use of force by police. Senators Barbara Boxer of California and Cory Booker of New Jersey proposed legislation that would demand all states submit reports to the U.S. Department of Justice that they said would bring transparency and accountability to law enforcement agencies nationwide. Too many members of the public and police officers are being killed. We don't have reliable statistics to track these tragic incidents. This bill will ensure that we know the full extent of the problem so we can save lives on all sides. That was a quote from Barbara Boxer, reported by The Guardian.
From Reuters news agency, Google might be the one you turn to from now on to keep a check of your weight. The company is reportedly developing a new artificial intelligence project which will identify photographs of food posted on Instagram and will tell you the number of calories included in the food. Codenamed IM2 Calories, the potential tool was announced at the Rework Deep Learning Summit last week. According to a report by Popular Science, Google researcher Kevin P. Murphy unveiled a project that uses sophisticated deep learning algorithms to analyze a still photo of food and estimate how many calories are on the plate. In one such example, the system looked at an image and counted 2 eggs, 2 pancakes, and 3 strips of bacon. Even though these foodstuffs are not universal units of measurement, the system could gauge the size of each piece of food in relation to the plate, along with any condiments as well. Murphy says, "To me, it's obvious that people really want this, and this is really useful." He agrees that the AL may not get the calorie content correct in the first few attempts, but it will improve when more people use it and share the results. Murphy did not share details as to when the new tool would be available.
The world's first ever NBC Sports Grill and Brew is coming to Universal City Walk in Orlando, Florida, bringing an entirely new level of sports dining experience. Opening this fall, the all-new restaurant is designed to be an exercise in NBC sports coverage. A massive HD stadium screen, more than 100 feet wide, will tower over guests as they enter the restaurant. Inside, food will be prepared on open kettle grills set where everyone can watch the action. According to Universal, nearly 100 HD TV screens will be playing a constant stream of live sports content and in-depth sports coverage. NBC Sports Grill and Brew will also feature more than 100 unique selections of beer, ranging from craft beers to regional brews to an exclusive draft that you can only find at this restaurant. NBC Sports Grill and Brew will be located inside Universal City Walk, right before the entrance of Universal Studios Florida, next to Element, reported by the Florida News Network.
From CNN, when you throw out your disposable AA batteries because your remote control stopped working, they actually still had about 80% of their power remaining. A new $2.50 battery sleeve called the Batterizer, coming to Amazon this fall, promises to extend the life of your batteries up to 8 times longer by drawing out their remaining power, which you were about to throw into the garbage. The tiny 0.1 millimeter thick stainless steel Batterizer sleeve features an incredibly small circuit board built to tap into the battery's remaining energy.
Democrats yesterday used a Senate subcommittee hearing on federal lifeline telephone subsidies to advocate for new subsidies on broadband internet service. This is a quote from Ranking Member Brian Schatz of Democrats in Hawaii. "Everyone needs a broadband connection to participate in today's society," unquote. The Senate Subcommittee on Communications, Technology, Innovation, and the Internet met to discuss ways to prevent waste, fraud, and abuse in the Lifeline program after a March report from the General Accountability Office found a sizable portion of the program's funds had been spent improperly, reported by CNS News.
And I guess the last one from the New York Times, chimpanzees have the cognitive ability to cook, according to new research. If only someone would give them ovens. It's not that the animals are ready to go head-to-head with Gordon Ramsay, but scientists from Harvard and Yale found that chimps have the patience and foresight to resist eating raw food and to place it in a device meant to appear, at least to the chimps, to cook it. That's all the time we have for News Bites. We need to move forward. Robin, how many stories were we able to get
26.
in? This is The Source, WOCA Ocala. We'll be right back.
Gainesville, The Villages, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
Fox News Radio, I'm Lillian Wu. An arrest in connection with the shooting death in Boston of a terror suspect.
David Wright will face federal charges, and while the U.S. Attorney's Office wouldn't specify just what those are, it did confirm they're related to the investigation of Osama Rahim. Rahim was shot and killed on Tuesday after members of the Joint Terrorism Task Force approached him. That's when Rahim confronted police with a knife.
Fox Radio's Tanya J. Powers. Boston police say he refused repeated commands to drop the weapon. That's when an FBI agent and police officer opened fire. Two suspects who allegedly assaulted an officer and stole a police car during a traffic stop are dead. The Texas Department of Public Safety say the suspects stopped after a chase but wouldn't surrender. Officers heard a gunshot and shot the driver, who emerged carrying a firearm. And U.S. companies stepped up hiring in May, according to a survey by payroll processor ADP. Fox News, we report, you decide.
We could use a bunch of fancy scientific studies to explain how Seafoam cleans your engine and improves performance. But recent scientific studies show that scientific studies are boring. So here's something that's not. Seafoam motor treatment, now at Napa for only $7.99. At just $7.99 for Seafoam, you don't need science to tell you that's awesome. Conquer the job with Napa Know-How. At participating Napa Auto Parts stores, 16-ounce can. Offer expires 6/30/15.
Overturned truck, freeway construction, rubberneckers slowing everything down. I travel for work. News like that used to ruin my whole day until I discovered Citrix GoToMeeting. With GoToMeeting, you can meet from anywhere using your computer, tablet, or smartphone. No expensive travel required. And with HD video, simply turn on your webcam and it's like being in the same room, which means you can stay productive no matter how bad the traffic gets.
Visit GoToMeeting.com and start our free 30-day trial.
Each morning, we wake up thankful to live in a free nation with liberty and justice for all. But sometimes those liberties can be put in jeopardy, and you may have questions about what to do or who to call. Let Doc Blanchard of Blanchard, Miriam, Adele, and Kirkland help you find the answers. Attorneys at law since 1974 and located in downtown Ocala. If you have legal issues, don't go it alone. Call 352-732-7218. Blanchard, Miriam, Adele, and Kirkland, helping protect your liberties every day.
For generation after generation, America's heroes have been fighting for our freedoms. And it's those freedoms that have allowed us here at Mike Scott Plumbing to prosper and grow in this great land of ours. At Mike Scott Plumbing, we help thousands of customers every day with everything from irrigation to repairing the kitchen sink. But if there's one thing that absolutely, positively needs to be maintained, it's your septic system. If you don't maintain your septic system, it could fail completely, leaving you with a big bill and an even bigger mess. So we here at Mike Scott Plumbing would like to help all of those who have helped us. If you have your septic pumped and you're a veteran, we would like to extend to you a special discount. Just mention this ad. Please call our office to schedule your appointment today, 866-314-4443. And from all of us here at Mike Scott Plumbing, thank you for your service.
A xylophone sounds dreamy.
Yeah, they don't make them like this anymore, Robin. I'm shipping it to the Musical Historical Society.
And you're packing it like that?
What, this won't work?
Why don't you take it to the Personal Service Center at the corner of Northeast 25th Avenue and 24th Street in Ocala? Just look for the yellow signs.
Great idea. That'll save me a lot of time.
The passing of time.
Personal Service Center makes sending packages easy.
And quick, call 789-6683
for the Personal Service Center.
If you're anything like I was, the thought of getting older was the last thing on your mind. But here we are. For me, it started slowly. The lack of energy. never being in the mood. And when I was, I could never perform at my best. I tried the pills and other treatments with minimal results, and all but given up on my sex life. Then I found the doctors at New Male Medical Center. Wow, they made a new male out of me. Feel like I'm 25 again. I have renewed vigor, so much more energy, and no longer worry about my performance. New Male treated me like my situation was one of a kind, with a custom treatment plan that really works. I feel great. They can create one for you too. It does not matter if you suffer from low testosterone, erectile dysfunction, or just want to last longer. New Male will help you.
Call New Male Medical Center today at 352-404-4779. 352-404-4779. That's 352-404-4779. It will change your life. 352-404-4779.
Central Florida Eye Institute is the area's leader in laser vision correction. From high-definition refraction surgery and LASIK vision correction to custom cataract, glaucoma, and diabetic treatment, you can count on Dr. Crowley and his effective, friendly staff to provide you with the quality care you deserve. Call 352-237-8400 for an appointment or more information. That number again is 352-237-8400. Looking forward to service your vision needs.
Loco Graphics would like to invite you to their second location on 200 next to Sonny's Barbecue. They are officially open to help you out with all your sign, vehicle wraps, and printing needs. Visit them and mention this ad for free business cards. Need a logo? We've got you covered. From business cards all the way to menus and flyers. Now 2 locations to better serve you. On Merricamp, half a mile east from Forest High School, and on 200 by Sonny's Barbecue. Loco Graphics, impacting your customers. Like us on Facebook.
Ocala's information station, 1370 WOCA.
Ocala.
All right, 6 minutes after 9 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in to The Source. By the way, this portion of AM Ocala Live is brought to you by Dr. Thomas Crowley. He is a board-certified ophthalmologist, and we thank him for sponsoring the show. Without sponsorships, obviously, we couldn't have the show. Dr. Crowley is over at the Central Florida Eye Institute, and whether you're just going for glasses, I guess that would be the most simple thing somebody would go to an eye doctor for, or something as complicated as LASIK eye surgery, cataract surgery, corneal transplant, all of the above. Right down to the regular eye exams that you get, Dr. Crowley can take care of you. The Central Florida Eye Institute is at 3133 Southwest 32nd Avenue. It's not far from where we're broadcasting from. If you know where the studio is in the Paddock Mall, it's right next to the mall on the Sears side, right across the street there in that little business, I guess, professional complex is what you call that, right?
Yep.
The number is 237-8400. Okay. You know, speaking of that, I mean, you're not donating, but you're spending money to sponsor a program, right? Mm-hmm. It's what makes the world go round. Money is an important part of the world, and it's interesting how when folks have a lot of money, whether it's Bill Gates or another name, they, of course, they're the ones who own the money. They're the ones who decide where the money goes, and there's usually good reason for it. And sometimes it's to build buildings. Donald Trump is a great example of that, I guess. Sometimes it's to maybe improve the environment or something like that. And sometimes it's to maybe do things that are more political in nature and support candidates, etc. George Soros is one of those folks. He's a billionaire, a philanthropist, and a social activist, and he uses his wealth for a lot of social causes. We're going to learn about them right now. Anna Porter is on the phone. She has written a book about it. It's called Buying a Better World, George Soros and Billionaire Philanthropy. I don't know that I've ever met a billionaire, although if I have, they probably didn't tell me. You know I'm a billionaire.
They're low-key, the genuine ones.
Good morning, Anna. How you doing?
Good morning. I'm doing fine. How are you doing?
I'm all right. Where are you?
I am in Toronto, Canada.
In Toronto, Canada. Did you see this thing that's going around that us Americans were having a hard time identifying Canadian cities?
Well, listen, I'm not surprised.
I think Toronto and Montreal and Quebec are probably the three, and Vancouver. I guess those are the ones we all know. But
Well, that's a start. I mean, what about Ottawa?
Ottawa.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, I guess I know the name. But I never heard of Moose Jaw. I never heard of Moose Jaw.
No, that seems like a shame because you know what? I mean, that is one of the most interestingly named cities in the world. I mean, how think about it.
But and I think you're speaking the truth because now I'll know it from this point forward. Yeah.
It's a bit like Leftover Shoe, Indiana.
Oh, there you go.
See, I never heard of this one. So.
I never did either.
But I have to ask, have you ever heard of Ocala, Florida, where you're speaking today?
I like it. I made up the Leftover Shoe, Indiana bit, so don't worry about
Oh, you
it.
did? Oh. Well, no wonder I never heard of it. Now I don't feel so bad. Leftover shoe.
Used you.
Well, Anna, you're already a fun interview. Thank you for being on the air with us. You got to sit with George Soros for the book?
Did I get to sit with him? Yes.
Yeah.
I followed him around a little bit, but I actually I interviewed him, and he, he's not an easy interview.
Really?
No, he's not an easy interview because there's questions he's willing and happy to answer, and then he's quite voluble and interesting. But if he doesn't like the question, he just gives you dead air.
Do you know what is? I want you to comment on this, and I'm probably taking you like 10 questions first. I should have asked so many more first, but I'm just curious. What is your thought on how money even does affect politics? It's one of those things that I don't even know that I understand. I guess on a local level, I understand that you're putting signs up in people's yards, and their name becomes more familiar, and then people vote for them because they know the name. But aside from that, I mean, how do you influence people to vote for Hillary Clinton or I don't know, Marco Rubio, any name that we already know, Jeb Bush? Mm-hmm. How do you change anybody's mind at all? Everybody's pretty much made up their mind. Am I wrong?
No, I don't think people have necessarily all made up their minds. But even if they have, you can often change their minds by spending money in an election. You can change their minds by advertising on television. You can change not so much putting up signs, but you can spend a lot of money on advertising, and negative advertising, as much as positive advertising. You can really hurt a person's chances of getting elected.
Okay, I guess I can see that. Yeah.
That's kind of at the large level, but at the smaller level, you can help elect state representatives who can gerrymander state boundaries.
Yes.
Sure.
Yes. Well, that seems to have happened in this state. So
well, it happens a lot.
So here's the other question then. If I became a billionaire overnight, and I have my own political views, my own political opinion, aren't I buying people's opinions? Aren't I saying, hey, I want you to have my opinion, and here's how I'm going to do it? I mean, how do I know that I'm right? How am I, as the billionaire, how do I know that I'm picking the right person?
Well, I'll tell you, George Soros is absolutely certain that he is right. His political activities in the United States actually are the least of what he has been involved in worldwide. It's just his foundations, the Open Society foundations, are active in 100 different countries.
Wow.
In the world.
Wow.
You know, for Liberia, he's been a great supporter of Sir Leif Johnson, who is currently I think still the only woman president in an African country. He's been very involved in the former Soviet Union and Russia. He spent $1 billion in that area alone.
What did he spend it on?
He spent it on. He's got a single philosophy. I mean, it's a broad-ranging philosophy, but it's a single philosophy of open societies, and that no individual, no government has the right to dictate what people do, and therefore his foundations intervene, or if you want to look at it negatively, meddle in the internal affairs of countries all over the world.
So that seems like somebody like Putin would be afraid of him.
Well, Putin hates him with a burning passion. You know, Putin hates him.
The dogs even hate him.
Yeah, the dogs.
That dog, my dog, just the name alone drives the dog crazy. I think my dog is a Republican.
This is one of the things that I found extremely interesting while I was reading your book. I didn't realize that he was out there in this huge capacity, because when the U.S. is trying to govern other countries with our policies, he's trying to work with the other countries to find out what's best for them.
Yes, that's exactly what he's trying to do. But nevertheless, it is meddling. You know, I mean, he was very involved in what happened in Georgia. I don't mean Georgia the state,
right?
Although he may also be involved in Georgia.
right.
But he was very involved in bringing Saakashvili to power. And if you look at what happened afterwards, it wasn't 100% good by any manner of means.
Right.
He's been very involved in Hungary, and the Hungarian Prime Minister, Mr. Orban, really genuinely dislikes him and says so.
Does he see it the way the title implies, that he is truly buying a better world? Is he really doing it for altruistic reasons? Whether we agree with him or not, that's a different point. But if he truly believes it, I think that's pretty noble.
He does truly believe it. He believes that it is possible to. Now, the word, buying is really my word, not his. He would use other words. But really what I was trying to say with the title, I was being sort of ironic. I was saying that you can't buy a better world, no matter how much. And I think is about $14-15 billion now spent on in this idea worldwide. But you can't really. He's been very, very involved with trying to save the European Union, and it's not. It hasn't been saved. He's involved with Ukraine.
And Anna, let me take a little break because we have a couple of commercial announcements. Of course, we're trying to make our first billion. So let me play a few, and we'll be right back. This is fascinating, by the way. We'll be right back after this.
Thank you.
The weather is brought to you by myfwc.com. Safe boating is no accident. For today, clouds, breaks of sun with a couple of showers and thunderstorms in the area into early tonight. The high today 82 to 86. And partly cloudy late tonight, those 66 inland, 71 at the coast. For tomorrow, intervals of clouds and sun with a shower and thunderstorm or two around in the afternoon. The high 85 at the coast, approaching 90 well inland. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Joe Lundberg.
Central Florida Eye Institute is the area's leader in laser vision correction. From high-definition refraction surgery and LASIK vision correction to custom cataract, glaucoma, and diabetic treatment, you can count on Dr. Crowley and his effective, friendly staff to provide you with the quality care you deserve. Call 352-237-8400 for an appointment or more information. That number again is 352-237-8400. Looking forward to service your vision needs.
Stay informed on everything going on in the Villages with the Village Spectator newspaper. The Village Spectator is exclusively devoted to the Villages with news, commentary, and more. And yes, they have Tom's Picks, a free referral for people who are looking for a company to do work for them. Tom's Picks will refer the company that fits your needs, and all we ask is that you tell them where you heard about them. Call Tom's Picks at 804-1223 and pick up your copy of the Village Spectator today.
Now read Ocala Downtown newspaper online.
If you've been hearing about the crowd at Eaton's Beach Sandbar and Grill and were worried because you couldn't get in, I've got some good news for you. Seating is now available. While you're there, look up Chef Dave Del Rio. He'll buy you a drink. Now is the time for you to finally see firsthand what your friends are talking about at Eaton's Beach Sandbar and Grill. Try Chef Dave's tantalizing Louisiana menu. Check out those gorgeous Lakeware sunsets. Eaton's Beach Sandbar and Grill on beautiful Lakeware. Seating now available.
All right, 19 minutes after 9 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in. Very fascinating topic. The book is called Buying a Better World. George Soros and Billionaire Philanthropy. Anna Porter wrote the book and spent some time with George Soros in order to do that, and including some of the people that he are his associates and work for him and with him. Do you know, Anna, the one thing I wanted to tell you that was a thought I had, and then I guess we'll be fair to the book because we've kind of not been fair to the book yet, but I've often thought that if the world is going to be a better place and people are going to be more enlightened, it's going to be because young people in the depressed parts of the world are able to communicate with young people elsewhere in the world, and the two are going to be able to see, holy cow, our leaders are really screwing us over. Yeah. You know, one of them is going to point out to the other one, gosh, we're all under the thumb of some insane dictator, and we need to do something about that. And so I guess what I'm trying to say is if we're going to make the world a better world with money, then maybe it's the development of some of these technologies that we're seeing now that will at least open the communication so that young people, who are the ones who usually change the world, get to talk to other young people and say, you know what they're doing in America, you know what they're doing in England, you know what they're doing in India, and they all get together and say, you know what? They've got it. They're doing it right there. We're not doing it right here, or vice versa, and that changes things. So,
well, you're quite right. Of course, they will inherit the world. So, so it, you know, and your children periodically will look at you and say, "What in the heck did you do to leave us this mess?"
I mean, it's just, it's like Palestine and Israel. It's almost like, gosh, I wish the kids from both sides would talk to each other and say, you know what? It's our leaders that are doing this. It's not us.
Well, the only thing they do together, actually, as far as I can tell, is play soccer. But that's not it. It's kind of sad when you get over there and you realize how little hope there is. Anyway, you're going to what George Soros has done in this area of trying to help young people become better citizens in the long haul. And honestly, I think it's about the only success he has had with all those 14, now almost $15 billion he's spent worldwide trying to affect social change. The only thing that I think will remain his legacy is Central European University. It's a graduate university. And it's in Budapest. It's a lovely building. If you ever go there, it's a beautiful building.
Mm-hmm.
A series of buildings, actually, and it brings together students from all over the world, all the trouble spots of the world, and they have a chance to meet and talk and resolve differences. And with a little bit of luck, some of these people will become leaders in their own countries, and fewer of us will be out there trying to kill others of us.
Right. Well, that's the beautiful thing, isn't it?
That's one of the most important things, too, in the book, is trying to get people to work together, because you state that George Soros is a rebounder. He doesn't have a huge successes. He also has some failures, and he wasn't afraid to talk about that.
No, he's actually, one of the many things that he said during the interviews is that he learns from making mistakes, and he said it quite cheerfully. He said I've made a lot of mistakes. He said all my life I have fought losing battles. Now, this was a quote from somebody else whom he had admired, but nevertheless he believes it, and he also said that he fights for ideas, and that is different from other billionaires who have, tried to make a huge difference in the world. He fights for ideas, not medical care, ideas, and that these are all ideas that he considers it's worth dying for. Now, that's really quite something. I mean, he hasn't died for any of his ideas, but it's a way of looking at the world, and that's how he operates.
Well, when you were in his presence, were you able to witness how he treated other people? Did he treat them differently than anybody else might treat other people?
No, he's not. He's not warm and fuzzy.
Did he intimidate you?
No, but I don't intimidate easy. He's relatively, cool. He's not. He doesn't crack jokes. In fact, I'm not sure he's got much of a sense of humor, honestly. But I tried a couple of little jokes on him and
Leftover shoe Indiana. Did you try the leftover shoe Indiana joke?
No, you know what? I should have tried that. I tried other things and nothing worked. And he just. It's not that he doesn't smile. I don't know if he ever laughs.
What was his childhood like?
Does.
I mean, do you talk about his younger days in the book?
Yeah, yes, I did. He started in. He was born in Hungary, and during the Holocaust, he's Jewish, although he does not view himself as a member of the, as he calls it, the tribe. But he was born there, and he survived the Holocaust, hidden by his father under a false identity. He then, his father, after the end of the war, when the communist regime took over and the Soviet Union was ruling in Hungary, his father wanted him to leave because he said there's no future, which of course is quite correct. There wasn't really, unless you were a member of the party cadre ruling the country, which of course he wasn't. So as a young kid, he went to London, penniless, absolutely penniless, and he built a fortune, a massive fortune. I mean, he's one of the richest men in the world. He started with about approximately $4 million borrowed in 1969, and 10 years later, that fund was worth $100 million, and by 1980, it was about $22 billion.
Wow.
So if you invested with him, if you were one of the people who lent him the money back in '69, you were doing very, very well indeed. And that's, admittedly, the fact that he is the man who broke the Bank of England, famously, by betting against the sterling pound, that netted him a huge amount of money. But looking at how he did that, by betting his entire fortune, plus, it makes you realize that he's a huge risk taker.
Is there anybody he looks to that could possibly have that he would respect to such a degree that he might actually have his own mind changed by that person?
Well, he has huge respect for his old London School of Economics professor Karl Popper, after whose ideas he actually named his Open Society foundations. So he talked to me at some length about Heisenberg, the philosopher, after whom he named his fund, the Quantum Fund. And, I'm going to confess to you, and I hope he's not listening. I had not actually read Heisenberg when he started talking about Heisenberg, and I was nodding as much as I could.
Oh, gosh.
And for our next interview, I went and read Heisenberg, and I'm telling you, it ain't an easy read. Something to read, on your holidays. Don't pick up Heisenberg.
You don't sound like a Toronto girl. That just doesn't sound like a Toronto accent.
Oh, really? Well, maybe I should say A.
Yeah.
Was he for or against the formation of the euro?
He believed that the European Union, having been founded by really good statesmen, never finished the job of becoming a union. So the way in which the euro was started and foisted on several countries was not the right way to do it. Now, we don't have time to go into his entire idea on how it should have been done, but now when he looks at the European Union, he says it's just a union of bureaucrats, and they don't have the ideas, they don't have the push, they don't, so sadly, he thinks the union has become a union of debtors and creditors. You know, people like the Greeks are out in the cold, and Germany rules, and he has tried very hard to get Merkel to listen to him, but she apparently, according to him, has managed to ignore him completely.
Wow. What fascinating stuff, but we're out of time. Anna Porter, thank you. I have a copy of the book, Buying a Better World. Call me if you want the copy that was sent to us. The rest of us have to go buy it so that we can help Anna have $1 billion.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That'd be a lot of books. Real quick, do you have a website?
Yes, annaporter.ca.
Oh, .ca. Okay, very, very good. Easy one to know.
Easy.
And go to Amazon and all the other booksellers. Anna Porter, thank you so much. That was great. We'll be right back.
Fox News Radio, I'm Lillian Wu. An arrest in connection with the shooting death in Boston of a terror suspect.
David Wright will face federal charges, and while the U.S. Attorney's Office wouldn't specify just what those are, it did confirm they're related to the investigation of Osama